welcome. Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hey, Saba, welcome. Welcome, welcome. And welcome back. Heiko, hello, how are you? Welcome. And to anyone over on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, welcome, welcome. Hey, Brina, Frankie, welcome. Pink Squirrel, welcome back. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. This would be a good time to probably stop the music. Welcome, Bob. Welcome back. Okay. Okay, everyone. Welcome, welcome. And as always, thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. Today, I want to talk about restorative justice. Does it work? Will and do families care if you're sorry? And when I say you, I'm talking about the perpetrator. I'm talking about the instigator, the person who went to prison or committed the crime. That is who, when I say if you're sorry, that is the you that I am referring to. Now, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on my show. We didn't talk about restorative justice, but we did talk about the victim's statement. And, we kind of went back and forth. Some of the pushback was mainly on victim statements with the perpetrator was under the age of 18. But restorative justice, it is part of the justice system, but it is voluntary. Welcome, Ninja Bunny. It is voluntary. It is something that either the prosecutor can suggest, the attorney for the family can suggest it, or in some cases the actual perpetrator can suggest it. And a lot of times when you see it happens after the person has been in prison for a number of years, a year, a couple of months, whatever, but they have usually been in prison. So my question is, depending on the crime, and usually, yes, you can have it for people who robbed the store, robbed a bank, I'm sorry, I robbed your store. I'm sorry, I burned your house down, whatever. Um, you have it in cases like that, but a lot of times you see it in cases of rape, murder. It's usually in cases like that. So my question to you is, do you think that it works? And Saba says, can the families request it sooner? Anyone can request it whenever they want, but of course, you have to have both parties. Both parties have to be willing to do it. So the perpetrator can say that they want to do it, but if the family doesn't want to meet, it doesn't happen, and vice versa. If the family wants it, but the perpetrator doesn't want to meet, it doesn't happen. Neither side can be forced to do it. But my question is, vehicular manslaughter. Yes, Saba. So my question is, do you think that it works? Do you think that coming around a table and talking about it and hearing someone say, I'm sorry I killed your daughter. I'm sorry, I was driving drunk that night, and I hit your husband, you know, um, I'm sorry. How far does sorry go? Welcome, Juju. How far does sorry go? And, you know, if it's the family that requested and the perpetrator says, okay, yes, I'll do it. And you're coming to the table saying, yeah, I just want to, talk to you because this is and this. I miss my son every day. I miss my husband every day. I miss my daughter, blah, blah, blah. What are you going to get out of it? Because either way, and I say this for on both sides, either way, the person is still dead, or the person is still in a wheelchair, or that person's life has been completely changed in some way. The family has been affected, not just the family of the victim, but the family of the perpetrator too. So on that note, let's see, personal contact can restore humanity. Brina says, this is heavy. I think it would be me after a long time and after I made my peace with God. Okay. All right. Because again, for me, and I'm going to, yes, guys, I am going to bring back that conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, because I also want to put the victim statement in there too. Closure. Okay, Saba, exactly what is that? Because when people say that, I mean, I know what it is, but do you really get it? Because again, I say that person is still gone, or they're in a wheelchair, or they're drinking out of a straw for the rest of their life. So either way, there's still a reminder there. So, and then I also want to bring up the fact that I'm just going to throw in a little twist here. Welcome, Graysbit and Royce. These are new people. Welcome, welcome. And let's see, who else did I miss? I think I got everyone. So welcome, everyone. If I missed anyone, I do apologize. I don't mean to. So I am going to throw in there the death penalty, okay? Because when you have the death penalty, okay, in California, you can stay on death row for 30 years. You can stay on death row until you die of natural causes. So, once again, it's like, okay, so you go to court, you get sentenced, you get the death penalty. But if you're around for the next 20, 30 years, is it really justice? So that's everything that I would like to. I just threw in a couple of twists. So if anybody wants to pop up, okay. And Graceman said, if the state can kill, anyone can. Okay, so Graceman, are you saying that the death penalty should not be part of the penalty? I just want to make sure that I have that I understand what you're saying. Should not. So should not. Okay. All right. So again, you have this restorative justice that is voluntary. Um, you don't get the death penalty, but this person, let's see, what if they commit murder unconsciously? When you say unconsciously, Heiko, are you saying that it was an accident? Are you saying that that's what that is? That that's an accident? Okay, Simon says closure is possible when light has been shed upon all the aspects of a situation, so that victims have opportunities to have all their qualities answered, which is necessary for someone to process thoroughly what has happened and come to a personal resolve with the issue. I agree with that, Saba, up to a point, because for me, and this is just me, I'm not speaking for anyone else. For me, the person is still gone. For me, the person is still gone. And we were talking on a show a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about the victim's statement, especially when it came to a DUI. You know, some people were saying, well, if you're drunk, you don't know that the person is, uh, uh, you know, if you're drunk, within, you know, that person doesn't know that they're getting into a car. They're drunk. They don't know what they're doing. But if you know that you're going to a bar, you're going to a party, and that you're going to be drinking, at some point you have to realize, yes, I did drive here. So again, if you kill someone, the person is still gone. Welcome, Doss. Okay, yes, it doesn't change. See, somebody asked to pop up and I missed them. Yes, it doesn't change the fact the person's gone, but it can change how, or even if you can move on with your life as you still go on living. True, true. It's up to us to move on, though. Okay, so Saba and Graceman, I ask, what if you can't? What if you're just so full of grief that you just can't? You know, because then I think people will tend to turn on to you and say it is your fault that for whatever reason you need to move on, but I'm not the one that caused the situation. Hey, Saba.
Hi. Mm.
I'm glad you were able to make it.
I can be here for a short time, but I've got to get ready for work.
That's fine. That's fine. So, what would you like to say? I'm happy you popped on.
Okay, so I think one of the worst things about grieving, one of the worst possibilities of grieving is not having all the answers, not having all, the insight to actually what happened. And when people are left in the dark, they're left to their own thoughts, which in a lot of cases are like the worst case scenarios, right? Which can then, translate as self torture. So if you can meet face to face with the perpetrator and see their point of view, hear their story, and you know what I mean, and like just have everything answered. One thing that we all know is that everybody makes mistakes. Why they make them, that's a personal thing. And sometimes it helps to know why someone has made a mistake, whether they were being negligible, or they just didn't know any better, or whatever the case may be. I think if you have all light shed on all aspects, then you really are able to, or you have the opportunity to, find some kind of salvation for yourself, at least. You know what I'm saying? And your
Okay,
loved one that is gone, sorry, your loved one that is gone would, if you got to think about what they ultimately would have wanted out of that particular situation. Would they want you to stay in the dark and grieving your whole life, or would they want you to find something, some type of way to move on?
okay. So let me ask this: are you guys familiar with the case of the 2 year old? He was put to rest this past weekend, I do believe. Um, 2 year old boy who was beaten to death by his mother's boyfriend, and she helped to cover it up. And they covered it up by dumping him, this 2 year old boy, dumping him in a trash can. Just like, you know, you put out your garbage, they dumped him in the in the trash can. Now, he was put to rest again. He's 2. So, is there closure for the rest of the family um, members, for the grandmother, you know, who warned other
That
people about, you know, what was going on? So, is there closure there? Is you know, can you, you know, tell me to, you know, move on?
that's a very particular case. That is it's very different than, say, let's say somebody was drunk driving and plowed through a couple holding their newborn. You know what I mean? Like that one, I that
Wait,
is
wait, wait. Hold on. Hold on one second. Grace, I'm just going to mute your mic while other people are talking. Okay, go on, Saba. Sorry.
okay. I think the circumstances and everything, does depend. I think that the parents, because that's the family, the actual family who's done the that, you know. I think that, on a case by case basis it does apply, but like for because we started out talking about like say like manslaughter and stuff like that, and like if it's from a person who is not part of the family. Let's say they were just doing their own thing and then a family member just happened to be caught up in the mix, like it's really really different. That particular case is different. I would approach it differently.
Well, okay, but at the same time, it's like, if my son had done that to my grandson, um, you know, and he wants to, talk to me and say that he's sorry, I'm not going to want to hear it.
Well, I mean,
I don't care,
that's
So I mean, seriously,
that's the parent of the child that they could. That's I think that's
right?
completely
But
different.
no, and I understand what you're saying. I'm just playing both sides here. So, um, I'm bringing Grace Bent. Thank you for waiting patiently and welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Sava.
Hey,
Hey. So, I think my take on the grieving and on where's closure. You know what I mean? Is that what we're that
I
is?
mean, we're yeah, closure,
So
grieving, yeah, anything.
okay, closure to me is it's relative. Everyone has their different point where they say that's closure. I'm done with it. I think it's possible for everybody to reach closure. Um, I feel like the opposite of closure would be I like to spin tapes out all the way to the end. You get a VCR, or you know what I'm saying. Back in the day, we used to have VCRs, and you play the tape out to the end and see what the ending is.
Hmm.
And I look at it like this: if everyone on Earth was grieving, everything would be put to a stop. But if everybody on Earth healed, you know, it there's the possibilities would be endless. So I like to play the tape out like that and look at it like that. Like there's no option but to get over it. And it's different for everyone. I'm not saying it's the same for everyone. Like maybe I can get over it in 2 days, and maybe you'll get over it in one, or maybe you'll get over it in three. But you have to get over it. There is no other option. There's only getting over it.
But Grace, but why do you have to? Why do you
Because that's
have to?
life. Because that's life.
Hmm. Okay.
That
All
is
right.
life. In the end, that yeah. Okay.
Okay. Um. All right. So to both Saba and Graceman, so since I have both of you all up on the panel, Crazy Lady says revenge, and hold on, and Heichel says if someone kills someone, we do death penalty here, and I think it's the solution to stop killing. I don't think the death penalty is a deterrent,
I agree
and
with you.
I didn't believe in it for a long time until this one case in California with a little girl that was molested and killed, and just the brutality of it. That is when I was like, no, this guy needs to die, But I don't think that death penalty is a deterrent in this country. However, let me ask you guys this. Do you think it's a deterrent in other places where you go to some places where if you're committed to death, it's like, okay, they take you from the courtroom directly to the firing squad, wherever, and you are gone. You don't get appeals, you don't stick around for another year, or a couple of months or a couple of weeks. They take you from here to there, boom, you are gone. Do you think if the U.S. was like that, it would be a deterrent to killing?
I say no.
Okay.
um, I think that's problematic because I know that there's some shady shit going on in the government, and they could be covering something up. And I think that killers like that should be examined closely by more people than, I guess, they currently allow to examine them. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be problematic because they could pin somebody, they could frame somebody and then kill them, and then there's no way of really finding out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's problematic.
Okay. Now, Boss says, so then is grieving a privilege? No. Some may get the time to grieve. Some may have to go straight back to work and other obligations. I mean, when people die, depending upon where you are, you get, people get like a week off from work, whatever. But it doesn't mean that you still cannot grieve. I'm not saying that grieving, is like, well, you can grieve and do whatever you want. You don't have to go to work. Yes, people still go to work. Some people just function. Some people just go through day to day. They go to work. They do what they're supposed to do. But they are not there. I would never ever say grieving was a privilege. Absolutely not. But people have the right to grieve, and I don't think. And I'm not just talking about people who have someone has killed someone. I'm just saying if your you know family member died of cancer, whatever. Born with a heart defect and that person passed away. I'm just saying people have the right to grieve however they want, and no one should tell someone how to grieve. That is all I am saying. But as a privilege, no,
I
no,
I I
of
think
course not.
I'm sorry.
No, go on.
I think where that person, I don't know who, I can't remember who wrote that, but I think where they're coming from is the fact that in other country it is a privilege to grieve. You have to just we us here in America, we thinking of first world rich. We're rich. We have privileges that other people in other countries don't have, and I think whoever put that was talking about in other countries there is not that privilege like there is here in America. It is almost a privilege. I've never like uh experienced it firsthand, but I've been to other countries. I've been to other couple of other countries, and it's not the same. It's not the same. We are on first world status. We have
But when
cars
you
that are
say but
batteries.
when you say
Hmm.
a privilege, because I've never heard it put like that. When you say a privilege, are you saying because you get that time off from work?
That's a privilege.
Okay,
You
so
don't
okay,
get that
so
in every other
okay,
country, is
right,
what I'm
right, but
saying.
okay, does that mean that if you break your leg, you don't get time off from work, whatever, depending upon whatever your benefits are, that you put that cast on and you go right back to work, and if you're supposed to be
If you,
hauling rocks or something, you better drag that leg however you can, because in that case, everything is considered. I mean, here in the U.S., yes, some of us have it easy, and some of us don't, because some of us don't have the option of getting that time off from work. But I'm just saying, you can't tell somebody how to grieve. Great, Matt.
shit. Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
No, I wasn't. No, that's not. It's not telling a person how to grieve. Is not. No, I have no problem with how a person grieves. I don't think that person who wrote that was trying to direct a. You cannot obviously direct another human being, pretty much at anything, let alone how they grieve. No, I'm saying it's a privilege to be able to get that time off. And like you said, it's a privilege to get a cast on your leg. It's a privilege that you don't have to come to work because you did hurt your leg. And that's all first world American stuff that we don't see as a problem in other countries, but it is a problem in other countries because we are at the top.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and Boss says, yeah, time to grieve. In other words, staying home, crying, looking at photos, memories. That's a privilege that some do not get. But whether you're able to stay home or whether you are not, I'm not even. Let's put it like this. I'm not talking about having a privilege to grieve. I'm just saying that when you tell someone they need to get over it and to move on, if I am still going to work, if I am still functioning day to day in society, I'm not talking about having a privilege to stay home. I am saying that if I am still going to work and or taking care of my family or doing whatever it is that I am supposed to do every day, paying the bills or whatever, I don't want someone telling me that I need to move on and to get over it. So I'm not, so privileged to me. That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. So what I was saying was what I was what I just said. So um so going back to the restorative justice thing, do you think that by you calling me, to the prison or whatever, that's a way that's going to make me feel better or make a family member feel better or even make you the perpetrator feel better?
Maybe not feel better, but get the opportunity to possibly feel better. So
Okay.
just creating
All
the
right.
possibility. Yeah.
Okay. So is restorative justice, Saba, something that you would want or entertain at least? And
Absolutely. Just knowing that it's there to utilize if I would find it necessary is it I validate that.
okay. So let me ask this because I want to go back to the victim's statement again. On my show a couple of weeks ago, there was some back and forth on the victim statement where some people felt that if you were under the age of 18, welcome chit shy lady, a minor should not have to listen to a family member get up in court and say, you did this and you did this, blah blah blah. Do you see the victim statement as the same as restorative justice? Do you see, like, what's the difference between a victim statement and a minor and restorative justice and a minor? Do you think that they're the same if I were to go and ask this minor to come and sit down and talk?
Well, being face to face with someone is different than hearing them give a speech in front of a crowd. It's more personal.
True, true,
And then, true colors tend to shine when you're face to face with someone, when there's no one else involved, like
true.
that puts them in a platform of transparency.
Okay. All right. And Crazy Lady says, see you and Mr. Talking. Where is it? I know a sorry would possibly make things a little easier, especially if they truly meant it. Okay, so would you guys get offended then if the perpetrator asked to meet and or you asked to meet with them and they said no?
Um, I don't know about offended. I'd be disappointed if I requested it and it didn't happen. But at least I know I did everything that I could to find um, uh, salvation, I guess.
Okay, Grace Beth?
I agree with that. Especially the part about doing everything I can. Uh, uh, all the options. Go over all the options because that to me is what life is about. It's about options. The opposite of options is death. There's no option to that. So I'm all about exercising options, and I'm kind of an optimist, so I know I'm annoying.
You're fine. All right, so would you be disappointed? And Crazy Lady says she would be disappointed also. Would you guys be disappointed if you wanted to meet with the person, but other members of your family didn't, or they tried to, say, why do you want to meet with them? They killed so and so, or they did this, or they did that, or I'm in a wheelchair, or blah blah blah. Would that prevent you from wanting to meet with them, or would that, make you think twice?
It really depends. Me, like a person like me, like I don't care if we share blood. I'm doing what I see necessary for a quality life. And I don't really get along with my family anyway, so I'm kind of the wrong person to ask about that.
Well, if it was a friend, if it was one of your good friends, and they were like, Saba, why do you want to do that? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I would understand where they're coming from, and I would try to help them understand as best as possible. And I could tell if they really wanted to try to understand or if they didn't. And if they didn't, I just see that's immaturity coming off their part, and so I'm going to leave them to that. And if they really didn't understand, like just do my best, and it just depends on if they're genuine or not. Some people, they want to be stuck on negativity, you know what I'm saying? They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get better, so I cannot help them, you know
Is it that they don't want Saba, or maybe some people just can't?
well, if they can't, then
Can't is
how
don't
can I
want.
make them? I
I
can't make them.
not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, in
It is a
my
joy. Joy is a choice. I'm sorry, but joy is a choice. Joy is a choice as well as everything that's the opposite of joy. But joy is a choice.
okay,
And before
joy
I
is a
gotta hop
choice,
off
and
here in a
and
little bit. I'm so sorry, but can I put up a
no
little
no
bit of
no
a
no, that's
twist? Can
fine.
I put up a little bit of a twist to
Sure.
this? If somebody cheats on you, does it matter if they want to restore justice by saying they're sorry? Like, would you care about that? Like,
When you're saying, you said someone cheats on you, like in a
relationship.
relationship.
Yes, like I know this is a totally different like context, but 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 I think that people are way less apt to forgive someone for cheating on them in a lover's relationship than um like they would be less likely to forgive than someone who manslaughtered their family member from negligence.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking about what you said, because I think you do have a point. Um. Uh. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Crazy Lady says maybe they weren't ready or felt unable to face it, and referring to if they said no. Brina says, yeah, I would be disappointed, but I would have to respect their decision. And then Crazy Lady says, because it's my action towards healing myself. And then Shy Lady said, everything is a choice. Yeah, we do have choices. You have a choice to either continue to grieve, or you have a choice to move on. So, uh, Grace, did you want to pop in on that or respond to what Saba said? Okay, he's giving.
Where you at, Mardi Gras?
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Um. Okay, I can respond a little bit. I would forgive, but that's just me.
Okay.
But I feel like forgiving is healing. It's a selfish healing for me. It has nothing to do with who I'm forgiving, why I'm forgiving, or anything. It's for me. Not maybe selfish is not the right word, but it is all for me, and it helps me get better, and I grow from that.
Hmm.
Okay.
I heard a demon once say that there's three things that gets you into hell, and that is unforgiveness, fear, and hatred.
Unforgiveness, fear, and hatred. Okay. All right. Now, Brina says, right forgiveness is for yourself. Bob says, time is a healer, and closure can help that process. And that's what I'm referring to, is time. Some people just need time.
And I truly believe in karma, and karmic balance is what you need for proper flow. Good orderly direction is how I refer to as God. you know like if there's no obstructions in the way, then you have good order, you have good flow, and things happen. So by forgiveness, and having the bravery to forgive. So you're eliminating fear. Fear is the opposite of love, and that eliminates your possibility of falling into the rut of hatred, which hatred and fear is a toxin that kills you. Basically, it's a poison.
I would say, yes, I agree. I agree with that. Not trying to love on Saba, but I, I do totally agree with that. And I would say it's even I would go so far as to say it it it's physical. I don't know. There's a word I want to say, but it actually is physical. That poison is actually like becomes a physical malignancy in the body. It's the opposite of laughter. Laughter feels good. Hate and revenge and all that shit. Come on, yeah, that does manifest as pain in the body. Brina just said. I just agree with that. I do agree. I agree.
Okay, Brina
Okay.
said it's like poison in the body.
Yeah.
She says it's like poison in the body. And then Shy Lady says, according to the Bible, God's word is a lot more than those things will keep you from getting into hell, including lying. Okay, and then Brina said that does manifest as pain in the body. Okay, so Crazy Lady is here. Hey, Crazy Lady.
Hey guys. Oh, uh, I forgot my train of thought.
Talking about poison in the body for forgiveness.
Yeah, it does.
Crazy
Because,
lady.
it's a negative thing, and it does heat up inside you.
Good night. Hi. I'm sorry, Crazy Lady. Hi, Heiko. Thank you for coming. Have a good evening. I'm sorry, Crazy Lady. Go ahead.
That's okay. Because it will eat away at you. That's why I try my hardest to, be forgiving and lay down feelings of discontent I have toward other human beings.
Okay. So, do you think that restorative justice is something that everyone? I mean, that should something that not everyone, something that should be automatic. That it should not be a volunteer thing. That if one party says they want to talk, then the other party automatically should. Or do you think it should still be both parties have to say yes?
See, I don't know.
And the reason,
Because,
the
check it
reason,
out. No one can make another person talk.
true.
I mean, the other person can just sit there and listen, and uh, I say I've let me think about that one, because I'm one down for like basic human civility. You know what I mean?
Right.
Humanity.
Well, the reason I ask that is because if I want to talk and you don't want to, and you're being forced to, are you even going to pay attention to what I'm saying? Are you even going to listen, or are you just going to sit there and go, yeah, 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 and then that's it?
There's a good chance that that'll happen, especially if it's a forced thing.
Right. So
But
that's why I'm saying. So
um,
shouldn't both parties have to
if it's the
say
victim, see, it's like, okay, if the victim wants to say something, like go to the, and say something, part of me wants to say, yeah, I think that that person that did that crime should have to sit there, even if it falls on deaf ears, should still have to sit there and listen to that other person, because maybe that other person needs to voice that feeling or that forgiveness or whatever they need to voice to that other person in order to heal and move on. You know what I mean?
But are
I
you really
agree with
healing
that.
and moving on if the person is not paying attention? So what's the difference between doing a victim statement and in court and the person's not saying anything, or you have this restorative justice where you're in a room with this person, but if this person has checked out and they're not there, then are you really? I mean, is
Yeah,
it really
sometimes like
helping you
one
if that
on one,
person?
like yeah, like when you're standing in a courtroom, you're in a courtroom, and
Right,
so
but when you're
everyone,
one on one, and if
yeah,
that person is still not listening,
and you're
then
then hopefully you'll be able to still heal,
okay.
and you know maybe one day in the middle of the night when they're laying in their bunk or whatever, maybe your words will come back and haunt them,
I
and they'll eventually get it. I don't know.
no, I agree with that. The only crazy lady. I agree with that because I feel like that's the truth. It could hit them. It's like planting a seed. I totally agree with that. And I also think that I can be talking to a room full of people, or I can be talking to one person, and I don't know if they're listening. I don't know. They could look like they're checked out and they're not checked out. So it's up to me to say, like, I think victims are should have the right to be able to talk if they feel like talking. I don't think it should be up to the person who created the problem, but I think it should be up to the victim. And I think they should talk because, like I said, even when I believe, I should say, I believe even though a person looks checked out, there's two issues there. One is I could be planting a seed, and two, they might not be checked out. They might be taking everything I'm in, but just trying to annoy me or whatever. I don't know what's in the next person's head is what I'm trying to say, and I got to divorce myself from that completely, and just know uh what I'm doing when I'm control myself, I don't know. Maybe I got a little
Yeah, because that's
too.
the only thing we do have control of
So
is ourselves.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you.
okay, so what if the perpetrator asks for a meeting with the family? Do you think the family should have to come, or do you think that
No.
is up to? Okay, all right,
Yeah,
all
because
right.
it might be, uh, but that perpetrator
He,
can also write a letter, asking
yeah.
and say
Yeah.
everything they want to say in that letter, and then the family can take it from there, or the victim can take it from there. You can read the letter and decide from there. Maybe I do want to see them.
Still need to go to O'Reilly.
You don't
So
sound too damn
Yeah,
crazy lady.
I know that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm crazy. I
You
think I'm
don't
quite
sound too
uh,
lucid.
damn crazy.
so do you guys think that restorative justice is a good thing then in the system?
It can be.
I
It
think it
can be.
is. Yes. I think if I think it can be, and I think it is, and I feel like when if the victim has the say, it can be quite healing.
Okay, now restorative. I want to bring up another part of restorative justice. Restorative justice is also a place where, if the victim's family want it, they can ask for some type of reparation. Do you think that's fair? So, meaning, let's say the person just got uh, what is it, probation. They can ask for, well, we want a part of your paycheck, or you have to go and clean the side of the freeway for the next 6 months or something. Do you think that the family should be able to dictate what the perpetrator does?
In Well, see, in lieu of a jail sentence, like yeah, you can. Well, you can always request anything. You know, doesn't mean you're gonna get it, but you'd be surprised sometimes those the victims, uh uh stipulations or wants are sometimes included because some of them are pretty good.
Okay. So, wait, hold on one second. I want to address what Tron Cat said. Tron Cat says, "Today's my last day at work. I'm going to start my business. You guys won't see me around for 2 or 3 weeks. It's been a pleasure listening to your show. It's been a pleasure listening to your Cheryl Salad Blue sister. And Tron, thank you so much for popping in. And yesterday, thank you, because you had a lot to say. So thank you so much. And I wish you well. Anyone who goes off and starts their own business, whatever, I am all for it. So I wish you 100%, blessings and everything else. So good for you. Brina says, Shrine Cat, that's great. Do the damn thing. Congrats. Boss says, what's on the table with restorative justice, sentence, death penalty, compensation? And Brina says, I think it's fair to ask that. Okay, so with restorative justice, when it first started, it was a volunteer program that was mainly for some type of reparation, but then it turned into, well, either side can ask the other side to meet, just to try to understand why you did this, why did you kill my daughter, why did you stab my son, whatever. um it was a way for both sides to be able to come together and try to understand the other side. Did one side forgive the other? I don't know, not in the room when all this is going on. But it was a way for these two people to talk outside of the courtroom, um, and see what is going on. So, sometimes it was an extension of the victim's um, statement. So, so when Bob says, "So what's on the table?" Sentence. Well, usually the person has already been sentenced. But for some things, depending upon what it is, it could be they just got probation for whatever it was. If they stole something, if they damaged something, it could be where you have to pay for this, whatever. So it all depends.
Solid.
Yeah.
So I watched this mini documentary on this case where this guy was speeding because he had a fast car, and he ended up plowing into a van with a woman and her child and killing them. And the husband was left, and he had like he hatred for this kid, and he wanted to be face to face with him. And this was before the sentencing, actually. He wanted to be face to face with him, and he said that as soon as he got face to face with him, saw the look on his face and could feel his energy, his demeanor completely changed from hatred to more of a humanitarian um, feeling or approach. And in a way, like, that's restorative to someone. To be in hatred is very toxic and degrading, and you begin to degrade, morally, physically, emotionally, and that can be transferred into your future relationships and your future in general. And so, um like, to me, that was restorative. So I think that any type of opportunity to restore after being poisoned with negativity, grief, hatred, loss, all the above, is valid and necessary for humanity.
Well, once again, I really agree. And I'd like to say that I agree again, Sava. And it is about opportunities. It is about choices. It is about all the things that we can do and running them all out. And if they don't work, they just don't work. And you move. And I should say I move on from that. But going through all that, not stopping at not stopping at I hate this guy. Definitely, you can't stop at hate. Like, doing whatever it takes to get that diminished. And if nothing works, then I have to move on in my own way.
All right, you guys, I gotta hop off. I gotta go to work. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, Saba, for popping in, and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thanks for popping in, Mardi Gras. Much love.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, see, hold on, let me scroll up. Okay, okay, so did I read that one? Let's see, Brina. Okay. Okay, so you're gonna have to mute. Who was that? Okay, so the affluent teen, no forgiveness. Boss says, okay. So thank you guys for liking the show. Okay, so the affluent teen, good point, Frankie. Do you guys know who that is? Okay, so the affluent teen. Are you talking about the kid from, was it Texas? I think they were from California. I think I talked about this. I think we talked about this on the other show, Frankie. Where this kid was 16, came from a very affluent home, and his lawyer said that he suffered from the fact that he came from an affluent home, and he should not be charged. He was drunk driving. He ran into we'll put it like this: for four people, two of them are in a wheelchair. One of them is a paraplegic. The other person died, and this person, he walks away. And his mom, every time they were supposed to go to court, it was always some reason why he couldn't go to court. And his mom ended up going with him, helping him leave the country, cross the border over to Mexico, where they stayed for close to a year until they were caught, and they had to come back over to the United States, whatever. What about that? Is restorative justice, is forgiveness there? It's like, okay, I'll forgive you, but you're doing all you can to not take responsibility for what you did. So what about something like that?
I I feel like once again it comes down to me having control over what I do and what I say and what I me. All that's all I have control over. When I fool myself into thinking I have control over, I can forgive if the next person doesn't take the forgiveness, if the next person doesn't, that's up to them. But I can't fool myself into thinking I have any control over the next human being at all. I have to totally get away from that.
Okay.
So they can have their feeling, and they could do what they want to do and run away to Mexico and say, fuck you, Mardi Gras, you ain't worth shit. I don't give a fuck. I killed them all. That's all. I have no control over that though. And fooling myself, I can't make myself think I do have control over that.
Okay. All right. So guys, so in the end, would you want to hear if you are the family of the perpetrator, would you want to be in the room with the family if you guys were doing a restorative justice session? Would you want to be in the room with your family member? Do you think it would be beneficial to you, since this has also affected your family? Do you think that you would also want to be in the room? Let's see. I like that, Mexico.
I would have to say yeah. I don't know.
But do you think that? But do you think that it would be beneficial to you? And I guess, in terms of trying to understand why your family member did what they did, or just to help you move on.
It probably helped me as a family member. You like to move on, Uh, well, see, I wouldn't. That's a loaded question, because I mean, if my family member did the crime, I'd be there to like try to, I don't know, help them process whatever they need to process. That will be why I'd be there.
So, do you think that um, it's fair to say that the family member of the perpetrator suffers just as much as the family member of the victim?
I can't say maybe as much, but uh, they're the family members are victims too because everything's going fine, and then uh, another person out of your control, totally like I don't know, like killed somebody. I just can imagine, the guilt that I probably would feel. Be like, oh my god, uh, yeah, you know, and then they have to put up with, part of the blame. I'm sure. Um, yeah, so that again, they're victims because they're getting negativity and stuff in their in their life because of something that they had like nothing really to do with, like the action. You know what I mean?
So, do you think that if, let's say that the restorative justice went went what do I want to say, went sideways, do you think that the perpetrator's family has the right to intervene if they're sitting in that room? Like, should they just be a silent listener, or do you think that they have the right to say whatever?
They have to be a silent listener because I mean, check it out. They weren't there saying anything when the stuff went down.
Okay, well then in that case, then in terms of the family members of the victim, do you think that there should be, like, can everybody come,
I don't
or
think
should
it's
it
bought
or
like
should it just be like, if it was your husband, should it just be the wife and the children, or can it be mom and dad? And then do those people have to stay silent, but because you're the wife you're able to speak, or you're the mother you're able to speak, but everyone else
um
has to be silent?
I think that I don't think that they all should like gang up on the person because that's like,
Hmm.
that would probably turn a deaf ear real quick. Um but like, you know, if like a mother has every right, to speak, just as much as the wife, you know. Um, see, it, that's a loaded
Okay.
question.
So crazy. What if it was just, what if it were your, I hate to say this to you because I know
Go
your
ahead. Go ahead.
situation. Okay. Okay. So it's your son.
Right.
Okay. And again, I am sorry.
It's okay.
It is your son. Do you think that if the perpetrator's mom was in the room and you were going back and forth with this person, and the mom said, wanted to intervene, being a mother, she's being a mother, which
Mm.
you be wanting to listen to her because she's speaking on behalf of her child and you're speaking on behalf of your child?
I was straight up. I tell her, I said, we can talk about this, your opinion outside this room, but right now I'm discussing what your son did to my son. My son's no longer here to speak. Yours can.
Okay. Okay.
That's exactly probably what I would tell her in
Okay.
the story.
So crazy. Then can I ask you, did you have restorative justice for your son? Did you have that at all, or was that an
Um,
option?
in the courtroom, um, I sent you Jade's statement, didn't
Yes,
I?
yes, yes,
I
yes.
Do you still have a copy of that? Because
I
still eluding me.
I actually do, and I will send it
Well,
back
I
to
was gonna
you.
say
But
if you want to, you could use that in like these type of shows. Because I thought she did a very good job in
she did.
what she had to say, and it was
She did.
forgiving. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, I was so proud of her. Um, but yeah, the dude didn't say. He had a chance to say. He goes, "Do you have anything to say to the court or the family?" And he said, "No, sir, I do not." I was a little disappointed, but
But did you
I
have a chance
understood.
for restorative, not a victim statement, but where you were actually able to
No,
go after he
not yet.
went to okay,
He
so
didn't go
is
to
that
prison.
something that you would want?
He didn't go to prison. He didn't do any jail time. He got
Okay.
365 days probation.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
but I'm still kind of waiting for like a letter or maybe a phone call. Now that all the lawsuits are done and stuff, saying, hey, look, I'm sorry or
And do
whatever.
you want that letter for closure, or why are you, what is the main point of wanting something from him?
I mean, I don't think I'll get it, but it would. I don't know. Maybe it probably make me feel a little. Not really better. It's not really the correct word, but you know, I don't. I don't know, but yeah, it would make a difference to me if he, said, "Hey, I'm sorry. It would. This is what happened. Blah blah blah, and I'm sorry that your son's no longer with us. I live with that every day. I'd be. If he truly meant it, and if he reached out to me now, then I would. Then he meant it. You know. Um. I would be. I'd be more okay than I am
Okay.
now. I think.
Okay. Boz says I would allow the parents or partner to be a witness to what was being said. It's interesting that you use the word witness. Shy lady, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming. So, Grace Bent, do you want to respond to what Crazy said?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the only thing I wanted to respond about, uh, if for restorative justice, I believe there should only be the victim and the perpetrator. And I feel like the perpetrator and the victim and maybe the victim's family, if that can be arranged. And I wouldn't mind seeing them gang up on whoever did it, because they did it and they need to feel that. They need to know that there are consequences for their actions. Too many times nowadays, especially with
Yes.
young kids, they think there are no consequences. They don't take responsibility, which is the trademark of being an adult. Responsibility. So yeah, I wouldn't mind if it was 12 brothers and sisters and ganged up on, long as there was no actual physical violence, let them know, or let her know how you feel about what they did, because that is the only way they're going to actually know. Doing time doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. You don't ever
It's
have
just
to
time.
face your consequences. Yes. Thank
Mm.
you. You
You
don't
got a lot
ever
of
have
time
to.
to. What you do at that time is another story, but it's still
Right.
just time.
Right. So yeah, I wouldn't mind if if they got ganged up on or nothing. I would not mind that at all. We don't these responsibility is a trademark of being an adult, and responsibility is taking responsibility for your actions.
So, does the type of crime matter?
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the type of crime does matter, and I think that it would be toned down to the degree that it should be toned down, especially if there was restorative justice restorative justice in more situations or more occasions. I don't know how much restorative justice is used actually, but I feel like I feel like it makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's again, it is a voluntary thing, and both parties have to say yes.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like
and
it.
that's
Yeah.
no, I was just going to say that that's why I said, if should it be mandatory or forced, because I still say that you can force it, but if the other person's not paying attention, then and like you said, they could be, um, and then once again, okay, Grace, man, let me ask this: are you
Hmm.
against the death penalty for anything, no matter what the crime was, for anything?
Okay, I'll put it like this. I am not for the state or the government doing a goddamn. Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's
Doing anything, doing anything beyond the controls that they already have. They have enough already. To be killing people, to say that killing is bad, no, I don't agree with that. I just don't
okay.
agree with that.
All right, so let me
Even in
throw.
other, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so let me just throw this out to you. I know y'all gonna say now, sound like you're really in crazy here, but what about the family members? Can they kill you the same way that you killed my son, daughter, brother, sister, whatever?
No,
Okay, okay. So once again, then I ask, does the type of crime matter?
the type of crime doesn't matter.
I say yes, and circumstances.
Thank you, Bob, for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, okay, okay. Because again, I'm going to bring up something that has been in the news um, over the weekend. Some gang members from one of the M16 or one of the gangs, whatever, um, were sentenced for the two of the higher up people, the main people were sentenced for a 2015-year-old killing of a 15-year-old boy. It was big news when it came out. They chased this boy. It was mistaken. They got the wrong person, but even so, when they got him, they literally hacked him to pieces in front of the store, and they realized they had the wrong person. But whether it was the wrong person, the right person, whatever, just the brutality again of this crime. The main people, they were sentenced, they were caught, they were sentenced, I think back in like 2018. The main people who were like in charge, whatever, they were just sentenced over the weekend. Again, Grace, I ask the type of crime. I understand what you're saying, but the brutality of the crime, because when you walk out of jail, say 30 years from now, if you live that long or whatever, you're able to walk out, even though 30 years 40 years were spent behind bars, or maybe you get life, you are still able to die of natural causes. My son, in the meantime, has been hacked up, whatever. How do you get over something like that?
I can't say how anyone would get over anything like that. I can say that for sure, two wrongs don't make a right.
Okay.
It's like adding a negative to a negative. It's like digging a hole with a shovel and trying to get out of the hole by digging a hole.
Okay. All right. Okay. So crazy, you want to pop in on that one?
Do you really want me to answer that one?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If it was a heinous crime, like if someone, chopped up my only living child, check it out. Uh, I doubt they'll even make it to trial, actually, to be honest.
Okay.
Just saying.
No, I mean, when I heard about this, when it first came out, around, uh, well, when it first happened, 2015 to 2016, crazy, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, there is, no, mm-mm. No, 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 no. So, um, once again, do you think restorative justice is for everything? Would you want to have a restorative justice session with people who ordered this killing, or people who actually did the killing? would you want to be in a room, just in a room with the people who were even capable of doing something like that?
I would love to be in a room with
Oh
somebody
yeah,
who did that.
Okay,
trust me.
okay. So would it have to be?
I guarantee
I'm
you.
asking both
If
of
it
you. Is it
if
a room where
they
you
made
have
it
to
to that
have?
point,
Would
if
it
they
have?
even made it to that point.
But would it have to be a room where some of it happens over across the table, and others it's like you have that the bars, whatever? Would they have to keep the prisoner away from you because you would be the one?
I mean,
It
yeah,
probably
obviously
would be
there would have to be.
advisable.
Okay, okay,
I feel like yeah, I feel like for a situation like that, there would have to be security. Security
okay. All right.
present. Yeah.
Frankie says you are asking hard questions. Brina says she is. That's why I like you here. And Woody says to Crazy, oh, that person would find the bottom of my hole.
Right? Like, yeah.
I wouldn't give two fucks what happened to me after that if it was my kid. So okay, so once again, guys, what's the difference? This is why I keep coming back into, does the crime matter? What's the difference between your child or your loved one getting hacked up with a machete by several people, as opposed to your child, getting into a fight at school and the other kid pulled out a gun and shot them? Does the type of crime?
Suffering.
Okay, okay, all right,
How long did my child suffer?
okay.
That's
I
the
think
only.
they're
That's
both.
one of the saving graces with my son's accident is that he passed quickly.
Okay. Now your
You know,
son was a DUI, correct?
no. It was he was in a semi accident. Dude was making a U-turn on a 2-lane highway at the bottom of a hill. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Okay. Someone else was in here who said their son passed away with a DUI. Okay.
I've had
So,
other family members die from DUIs.
but okay. So again, does the crime matter? So Crazy. Do you think that that person should have served jail time?
In my son's accident,
Yes.
yes, I do.
Okay.
At least something. Uh, because yeah, it's just what he was hauling and just uh being dumb. Maybe next time he'll think.
Was he a younger person or
Nope,
older?
he was older.
Okay.
He's in his 50s.
Okay. Gray's vet.
I would say that the crime does matter. Okay, if my little brother had his shoes stolen, as opposed to he was hacked to pieces in front of a store, the crime matters. That's yes, the crime matters. But in each situation, I would want to talk to the perpetrator. Now,
Yeah,
in the first situation, he just stole the shoes, and I wouldn't go so hard on him. But in the second situation, of course, I would ask more heated questions. The silences would be deeper. The everything would be more intense. But the restorative justice works in both situations. It's just the degree that I would come at the situation and the angle I would come at the situation would be different. But restorative justice works in both situations, in my opinion. But there
Are,
is a difference between crimes, yes.
yeah.
okay. So let me ask this then. Do you believe that you hear in some cases where the prosecutor has um, made a deal with the with the defendant, and they did not talk it over with the family? Number one, do you think that is wrong? And number two, do you think the family should have a say so in how a person is sentenced? And again, think about the crime.
Well, to me, that's law. I don't have a law degree. I think that's a law question. I can't. I shouldn't even have said anything because I can't answer that
I
question.
mean, no, I mean,
That's
if
a
I
little
mean,
into the law, and how
Okay.
that's handled. And I
Yeah,
don't
but the
know
law
that.
don't always work.
Right. The law doesn't always always work. And I think the law fails a lot. So do you think that you all are making well, instead of giving them life, we're only going to give them like 12 years, or we're going to give them 20 years, because and one thing that I don't like to hear, and I'm sorry, y'all probably gonna push back on me on this. I don't want to hear that the perpetrator, they still have, they are young and they still have their life ahead of them. Don't tell me that someone still has their life ahead of them when my son or daughter, whatever, that they're 6 feet under. That's the last thing I want to hear, is how that they're only 18, or they're only 20 and they still have this. No. Yes,
No, no,
Brina,
no.
that is an insult. Yes,
I
it
disagree.
is.
I disagree
So you disagree with what I just said?
with what you just said. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, a per- I would have to get over my son dying, my daughter dying, whatever, my little brother dying in this case. I don't have a son or daughter. I would have to get over my little brother dying. There is still hope. Believe me, in that young person who fucked up. They just messed up really bad. That does not mean there's not hope. That does not preclude hope in any way whatsoever.
Can I rebuttal?
Yeah, of course you can. It's your show.
I know it's my show. I just want to say that. All right. So all right.
Oh,
Again,
no, you may
again,
not.
again, I'm going to come back to the crime. Okay. So the people who, I'm going back to this 15-year-old who was macheted to death. Um, he that happened with other kids his own age. And some of the kids were 18, 19 years old. Are you still going to say that they still have a life ahead of them?
I'm still gonna say they have a life ahead of them.
Wow. Okay. All right. We don't have to agree to disagree on that one. Okay. All right. All right. I
Because to me, that is the fact. The fact is they actually in real life have a life ahead of them.
True.
They might
True.
change, they might not change, but there is the possibility. They have the opportunity, as long as they are alive, to change. Will they or won't they? I don't have a crystal ball. I can't call that. But the opportunity is actually there. And not only that, a person who's been through something like that can teach another little hard-headed little sucker
Exactly.
how to not go
Not
that
do
route
this.
Okay.
better
So,
than anybody.
all right. So then, in
Anything
that
can
case,
change.
can't they, everyone, teach one in prison? They don't have to get out. I mean, so, okay. Okay. Let me ask this. Do you guys believe in life in prison?
I mean,
Yeah.
if there's no death penalty, yeah, I think some crimes
I do think
are
they need
that
to come
bad.
back with like the chain gang stuff,
Well,
where
actually, they still have it. They still have people who they still have free labor. So okay, so what's the difference? So if you say life in prison, then do you think that, so again, think about the crime. Think about the crime. A 17-year-old, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year old who has committed murder, should they get life? Or
See,
should they
that's
just get 20, 30 years and have the opportunity to still have their life, as opposed to someone who's 40 and they get life and they end up dying in you know jail or prison?
when it comes to sentencing, I feel that's above my head, and I can't call stuff like that. I'm not gonna call
No.
sentencing.
I will call that there is a need for life in prison, and there is no need for the death penalty. But I can't
Okay.
personally speak on
All right. So if someone killed a family member of yours and the judge handed down the death penalty, would you go to the judge and say, can you give them life as opposed to death?
definitely
Yeah.
Okay.
without any hesitation.
All right. All right. Crazy.
Uh, yeah. I mean, it can be, you know. Uh, like it all depends on the crime and, and circumstances.
All right. Let's see. Lisa says God forgives everyone if they can find salvation in the Lord. Yours and yes. Brina says if that young, I don't believe in life sentencing, but that person needs a lot of counseling. It also depends upon the type of crime. So, Brina, again, let's talk about the machete crime. Hey, Angie, let's think about the machete crime. That's not life. And then Tron says, there to live uncomfortably than to not live at all.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, see, if you're not going to give the death penalty, then I say life. If I believe that the punishment should fit the crime. I don't care how old you are. The
See,
punishment should fit the crime.
I see. In a way, I don't kind of believe in that in a way because, like, I did, I did time with a chick that she was in there for murder. She like straight up, dude. She knifed her boyfriend like 60 some times, and I mean, I agree. The 60 number was a little high, and I asked her, what happened. She goes, I killed him. She's I. She goes, once I started stabbing him, she couldn't. But he like abused her, like he had and documented of broken bones and stuff of like years and years and years and years of abuse. And she thought that when she knifed him, he was strangler. He was trying to kill her, but she got 15, 20 years in prison for that. I don't think she should have got 20 years.
Well,
You know,
And can I speak to that
yeah. Go
point?
ahead.
So I've known some cats that were locked up and they were good ass motherfucking dudes, man. They were just caught up in some bullshit,
Mhm.
and sorry about the cursing. They've been through a lot, and their environment, whether through weak mindedness on their own behalf or just the environment was a little too much for them, and they got caught up in their environment, and they went to gangs for support, and they ended up killing somebody, but they were really good dudes. So I don't think that like Brino put down there, like there are very many variables. It is tough, and life in prison, man, I don't know. That's some hard shit. That's no joke. Death, I don't know what death brings, but
death.
prison is really hard. It's not fucking easy at all. I that's
Now, Tron
you know what I
says
mean?
he's not against the death penalty. So, okay, so I don't know. I just think that if someone commits a heinous crime, and if you kill someone, no matter how you kill them, that is like the ultimate thing that you can do. And I'm sorry, if you're not going to have death, then you spend the rest of your life behind bars.
I agree. There are certain crimes that are worse than others, and some they need to suffer. And I feel like, but it's not as much as we give the time out for in our society. There are not as many crimes that deserve 120 years,
but there are a lot of crimes that get 120 years. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah. But
So,
if you molest and kill a child, I'm sorry, that's 120 years plus 120.
I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, that's a touchy subject, and that's kind of unfair that you brought molestation up. Everybody's gonna say,
But
"Oh,
it
Well,
happens.
no, but I mean, no, but it happens, and we
I know it
see, and wait,
happens."
and you also see that some of these judges let some of these people off easy, whatever, and or blame the victim, whatever. But I'm just saying that when you have
Molestation is a whole nother animal. Could we leave that one out? That is
yeah,
a
but
whole
I
nother
mean, okay,
animal.
but you're
No, it is a
still,
whole nother animal.
you're still talking about if it was restorative
That is a whole nother
justice,
animal.
though. But
That
it's
is a whole nother animal.
but it's still a crime, though. It is still
W-
a
w-
crime.
I we were
So
talking about horses, and then all of a sudden we started talking about prehistoric lizards,
no,
and that is not the same. They're
no, but
both animals.
we're still talking about a crime. So again, what's the difference?
If you really
And
want to get
and
into,
that's
if
why
you
I
really
said,
okay,
but that's why I said, does the crime matter? That's why I said, does the crime matter? If you're going to get life, if you're going to get death, if you just
well,
get
I said the crime
probation,
mattered. I said
okay,
the crime matters.
all right, okay. And I'm just, I mean, and then uh, variables. I mean, every crime would be a variable. So I mean, the bottom line is, for me, is I think restorative justice, I think it can work. I think in some cases, again, I'm not sitting in the room with anyone. I've never been through it, but I would like to think that it has worked for whatever crime the person has committed. That in some way it has worked. There are probably times where it hasn't worked. Um, uh, there are probably times when the victim's family is going to want to talk, and the perpetrator is going to say no, or vice versa, because the family is going to say that they aren't ready. But the bottom line for me going forward, I think it is something that we need. And also, bottom line for me is the entire justice system needs to be overhauled. But anyway, we're getting to the hour and a half mark, and I am going to go around the room, and I'm going to start with Gray's Bent. Do you have any last words of wisdom?
I don't know if they're gonna be wise, but they are last words. I was gonna say that as far as the justice system being overhauled, I think that's exactly what is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I agree because, and I agree with you because it's all about money. If you have enough money, you can do it. If you don't, that's your ass.
Uh, yeah.
If you have enough money, you can get away with so much more. It's so much better and easier. The justice system is all right, but when you don't have money, and that's that public defender ass. That's your ass.
This is true.
Public pretender.
This is true. And Brina says hacking someone up with a machete is a lot more intimate than shooting someone. Could be, unless it's execution style. And she also continues to say, yep, all those molesters can die. And Frankie, I'm going to give you your last word. And Frankie says, thank you for having me. And Frankie, you are so welcome. Thank you for coming up on the panel. And Brina says, sad but true. So, crazy lady.
Uh oh,
Any last words of wisdom or anything you want to comment on? Or
people can change. For the lesser crimes, I'm a good example of that. Um, and I still believe in corporal punishment. I'm sorry. I think that we have a lot less crimes if people were held more accountable for what they do.
okay,
That's what I think.
all right.
So that's it. Oh, I
Okay.
love you
Well,
guys. I love the whole. Oh, I love the whole world.
well, you guys will be seeing Crazy Lady sometime this month on Friendly Differences because she's going to be on one of our shows, so I'm excited for that. Uh, so that coming up. And tomorrow I have to post my show for tomorrow and Thursday, but Chill is going to be hosting on Thursday, and his topic is this is what he came up with: natural order and humans' role in society. Are we living in or out of order? So I thought that was a good topic. So I asked him, was he going to do trivia like we were talking about last week? And he said no. So this is what he is going to do on Thursday. So again, I have not posted my show for tomorrow, but I will do that later on this evening. And you guys, again, thank you so much for coming. Grace, but I disagree with you, but I enjoyed the interaction. Always, you're welcome back. No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's good to have some pushback. We all don't want to be robots and think the same way. So
Dancing and holding hands and
do you
being
know how to
happy.
dance? Do you know how to dance?
No, yeah, but like in a circle. Like, hey, I love you guys. I love you guys. You're right. No, you're right. You're more right than I am.
I'm the rightest of them all.
You're the rightest of them all. All right, guys. So I'm going to call it a day for this show. And again, thank you so much for coming. And enjoy your rest of your evening wherever you are in the world. And go where the wind takes you. Bye. And Trine Cat and Angie and let's see, Blasky, Grace Bench Shorty. Thank you so much. Juju, Shy Lady was here. Sava, Brina, Ninja Bunny was here. Bob was here. Power Girl. Did I miss someone? Juju Doss was here earlier. Thank you all. Thank you all. I do appreciate you. And Trine Cat, I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you success. Heiko was here. And I think I got everyone. And to everyone who is listening over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, thank you guys for popping in. I appreciate it. And guys, thank you for following my show over on YouTube. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. All right, guys. That's it. See you tomorrow. Bye.